Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Top 5 Tuesday. Boom, pow, bang. Cool little words that say Top 5 Tuesday. Sadly, I don't know how to do any of that in these videos, but I do have this cool little image that you see here that I created on ChatGPT, so that'll be what I'm going to use. So, anyways, today what I'm going to be doing again is a Top 5 movie review. So I'm going to go through 5 movies that I have recently-ish watched and give you kind of the rundown on what I thought of them, the rating for them, and just kind of give you a quick little run through on how I felt about these movies. So, without further ado, let's get going. So, coming in at the 5 spot was a movie that I was actually very, very excited to watch. I have heard a lot about this movie. I've heard a lot of good things. It was a concept that I could really get behind. So finally, it was on streaming, and I was excited, and I sat down and I watched it. And personally, to me, this movie was a big letdown. That's why I actually have it ranked at number 5, and that is In a Violent Nature. The whole idea of this movie, with it being about seeing things from the serial killer's perspective, I thought that was a cool idea. I liked that idea because it's not something you see in a lot, but I just don't think it was executed right. It was very, very slow, very kind of boring. It took a lot for anything to happen. There's a lot of him walking around and such, and I get that. That's necessary, but just in general, it wasn't a very exciting movie. They're supposed to be making a second one, so hopefully the second one does a little bit better. I know in some franchises it kind of picks up as they go along, but to me, I only gave this about a 4 out of 10. I was incredibly underwhelmed and disappointed with this movie. With the amount of excitement I had going into it, it was definitely a big letdown. All right, coming in at number 4 is another movie that I was interested in. From the previews, from what I remember seeing, it looked interesting. Didn't really know a whole lot about it. Didn't have a lot of build up to it for myself. Just kind of watched it on a whim because it was on demand and it was on streaming. And that was Cuckoo. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. It was eerie. It was creepy. The little glowing eyes of the people, the weird interaction with it being part bird, part person, the noises, the whole thing with them getting distracted and everything. I just thought it was a very well, put together good movie. I don't think anything of it was amazing. I don't think the acting was top notch or anything like that. Just thought it was a good, solid movie. So I'll give it about a 5.5 out of 10, maybe a 6 if I'm being generous. But like I said, just a good, solid movie. I did like the story. I did like the idea. I thought it was kind of a cool little twist. I'm always for them when they're trying to perfect the perfect human and make different kind of genetic things for it. But like I said, about a 5.5. So coming in at number 3 was a movie that, if I remember correctly, was a Hulu original. And I look forward to this. I remember seeing this coming up on different kind of social medias, and that was Carved. So going into this movie, you know that this is about, obviously, a killer pumpkin. As you can tell from the poster and all the other things, you know it's going to be a weird kind of B movie about a killer pumpkin during Halloween. Going into that, you already know what it's going to be, and this movie is exactly what you expected it to be. It lived up to what everything was supposed to do. The little pumpkin creature was cool. The whole thing about it was neat. And the acting was good. And that definitely had the cool slasher vibes with the teens. Just everything I feel like was a really well done, put together Halloween type movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I actually gave this a 6.5 out of 10. It delivered on exactly what I thought it would be, which would be a good 5. Like I said, if I know what I'm getting when I'm going into it. But I feel like it was better. It was well done. I think the little pumpkin creature, was a little bit better than I would have anticipated. I just think it was much better put together than I would have thought from the beginning with these kind of little B movies. So, like I said, I gave this one a 6.5. So coming in at my number 2 spot was a very popular movie. A lot of people had this as one of their top movies of 2024, and I can understand why. And that is Nosferatu. I thought this movie was really good. The gothic style of the movie was awesome. The acting was great. You know, Count Orlok was creepy. The whole mansion was creepy. Just the vibe of that movie was awesome. I absolutely loved it. Very well put together. Very good acting and good storytelling throughout the whole movie. I am personally not a big Robert Eggers fan. I don't really like him that much as a director, but this was a very good movie. The only problem that I had throughout the movie, and this is 100% me, is I had a hard time understanding what they were saying, especially Count Orlok. His voice inflection and everything he did just didn't do it for me. I had a hard time understanding him. I have a hard time sometimes connecting to some of the older English type style movies when they speak that way, but that's a personal thing of my own. But overall, this was a very, very good movie. I gave this one a 7 out of 10. Enjoyable watch, good creepy vibe. If you like that kind of Victorian style, creepy, airy gothic, you're going to absolutely love this movie. All right, so coming in at my number one spot was a movie that I held off on watching for quite a while, as I am not an A24 guy. I don't really like a whole lot of their movies. Obviously, they have a handful of good ones. Every company does, but for overall, not a big fan of their movies. But I finally committed to watching it, and I'm glad I did, because I absolutely loved this movie, and that is X. I love the whole vibe of this, the old 70s style slasher. You know, they're there with the creepy old couple, they're shooting the porn off in their little cabin, and just how everything kind of just falls apart. Obviously, I also really like the part that they have the crocodile in the lake that they feed people to. I thought that was pretty sweet. I know a lot of people find it kind of weird that the old lady is the killer, Pearl. But I think it's kind of cool. Kind of weird how she goes kind of crazy and kills him in front of the van and kind of does the dance thing. I also did watch Pearl. I didn't like that one nearly as much as I liked X. It was okay. I still have yet to watch Maxine. I gotta go ahead and finish this trilogy, but X was a very, very good time. If you guys have not watched it, I definitely want you guys to go watch this movie. It is tremendous. I think it's done really well. I graded this one pretty highly. I gave this an 8, maybe an 8.5. I can't put it up in that 9 spot. That 9 is very, very rare air. It has to be a really, really good movie for me to get it up there. I don't put a lot of them up in that 9 spot, but it is just a tick below that. But like I said, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Definitely check it out and let me know what you think of any and all of these movies that are on this list. So, also, if you guys have any top 10 lists you would like me to do, or top 5, sorry, let me know in the comments below and I will do my best to get to them. Thanks for watching.